Today we are reading from In Love at Ease. This is a book written by a yogi. Literally, that's his first name. Yogi Trivedi, who was a devotee of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was the president and guru of a very large spiritual organization known as BAPS, the Swaminarayan Sanstha. Here we recount everyday spirituality with this late guru. In chapter 2, part 2 on Atmanishta, self-love, we are discussing how Swamishri inspired self-love within everyone by encouraging them to take care of their self, as well as leading by example. So, let us learn from this exalted teacher how we can love ourselves too. Swamishri valued mental and emotional health just as much as he did physical health. He believed that listening, frequent contact, and providing warmth provided a pathway to healing for those suffering. He wrote long letters, made phone calls, and even gestured from a distance while in a crowd of thousands to check in with those who he knew were in pain. These gestures were all it took for tens of thousands to open up to Swamishri and find comfort in his presence. A young student in Dallas, Texas, was preparing for her SAT exams, which were in less than a week. The stress and anxiety surrounding the moment felt insurmountable. She wrote a letter to Swamishri about feeling paralyzed by the weight of the exams. Swamishri responded to her letter with blessings. On the morning of the exam, he asked his personal attendant to call the young girl's father and reassure him that the guru had prayed for the young girl that morning. He wanted her to go into the exam knowing that he was with her. She was not alone. The young girl was overjoyed and reassured in her abilities to do well at such a significant examination of her early student life. Swamishri consoled and comforted millions by merely reaching out at the appropriate time. I cannot stress how important his timely phone calls and letters have been in my life as I went through high school, college, graduate school, and transitioned through my career as a journalist, consultant, and academic. He would often encourage me to meditate on and still my mind with the divine image of God to deal with my anxiety and nervousness. Most importantly, Swamishri was there to pick up the pieces when someone suffered from mental health issues and distress. Frank had poured his heart to Anand Swarup Swami about these struggles he and his wife had faced after their only son committed suicide 1 year prior. Swamishri was about to leave his residence in Leicester. Oh, these English city names, so difficult. Leicester, England, for Bhadramanis, which is the time he takes to go visit devotees in their houses, and sabhas, which is another term for sangha, a gathering. When Anand Swarup Swami brought Frank to him for darshan, for his presence, Frank sat across from Swamishri and opened up about his 17-year-old son. My wife and I took our young son to a psychiatrist to address what we believed was a minor health issue. The psychiatrist diagnosed him with a serious illness and advised for him to be confined to a mental health institution. We were all surprised, but that was the outcome of the visit. Each time we visited him at the institution, he would cry and beg us to bring him home. Instead, we listened to the doctors and did not heed his words. He could not handle the shock. One day, he climbed over the 7-foot wall of the institution and hung himself off the chimney of a neighboring house. Everyone has been blaming us. People say we did not love him enough and that we did not care for him. Frank's previously watery eyes were now flooded with tears. He put his head in Swamishri's lap and cried some more. Swamishri comforted him. Did you love him? Did your wife love him? Did you do all you could in your power to provide for him? Frank looked into Swamishri's eyes and responded, Yes, of course. Everything we could. We loved him. He was our son. Swamishri held his hand. Then there is nothing you have to feel guilty about. People like to talk. You and your wife cannot base the rest of your life and your happiness on what other people say. Deep down, inside of you, you have the answer to the questions troubling you and the accusations against you. Pray, go to church, have faith, stay strong. It is the only way to overcome this difficult moment. As he was getting up, Swamishri told Anand Swarup Das Swami to tell Frank to donate time and money. Anand Swarup Das Swami looked back at Swamishri quizzically. Now is not the time to ask Frank for a donation, thought Anand Swarup Das Swami. Swamishri completed the sentence, to his church and community. Frank found relief in hearing Swamishri's selfless instructions. He went to his church and shared this interaction with his congregation and its leaders. Swamishri comforted minds, instilled faith, and encouraged people to serve and give back to their own communities. These were completely selfless acts. Though Swamishri encouraged physical fitness and mental well-being, he was conscious of the greater reality as well. Swamishri did not overlook the role of the body and mind, but he emphasized the experience of the Atman, the self. The state of being, Atmarup or Brahmarup, is said to be one with the self, and realize that as the ultimate form of one's identity. The answer to the question, who am I, is the Atman. Bhagwan Swami Narayan, whom is the I don't know if he actually founded the lineages, or you could say that his followers did, but he is the central figure of Swamishri's devotion, for example, and the organization that he's a part of. So, Bhagwan Swami Narayan has spoken about the power and strength of this state in 60 of his discourses in the Vachana Amrut, which is a text we are also reading together time to time. It is an important part of the spiritual journey for all spiritual aspirants, but also for people in general. Realizing one's true identity and drawing strength from it is the key to human success. Swamishri realized that he was the Atman, pervaded by the divine, and therefore was able to transcend pain, illness, fear, insult, difficulty, and even the ominous shadow of death. It provided him with an endless supply of love and stability to keep giving to others. It is this Atmanishta that enables one to transcend the basic human experience and reach for that which lays beyond. Swamishri lived in that exalted state and inspired others to enjoy glimpses and eventually cross the threshold beyond the human experience. Let's pause our reading there for now. So thank you for listening, and we'll continue reading this at another time. Very grateful to have this opportunity to read this book for you all. Thank you, Sky Guardian, for sending it to me. And through me to all of us. All of the proceeds of that book, by the way, go to support tribal education in India.